Kristen Preau, the Jambalaya Girl. How are you?
Hey, doing great. Good to see you.
So nice to meet you. I actually ran into you on social media from our buddy, the Cajun Ninja.
Yes,
And you guys have been doing
right.
some stuff down south, helping out with this hurricane relief stuff down there.
Yes. No, I mean, that's what we do. That's what we do best in Louisiana. When times are tough, we cook and we help each other out and give us some good food to keep the good morale going through all the tough times.
Heck yeah, I love it. So why don't you, for a lot of people that don't know who you are, why don't you get into that and tell me how you got into this industry and all about the fork earrings.
Yeah. Well, even introduced my industry too. So Jambalaya Girl has been my nickname since I was tall enough to stand next to my daddy's cast iron pot. And it was, I grew up in the cooking business. My dad made a lot of cooking equipment for the chefs here in New Orleans, born and raised here. And it was his jambalaya recipe that inspired me to start my own line of New Orleans food products. So, the inspiration for my business actually came from a hurricane after Katrina. I was traveling the country, looking to help out, looking to raise money. I lost everything, but everything I had fit in the back of my little Honda Civic. And I was fresh out of college, had nothing but my whole life ahead of me. And I just started tailgating and cooking jambalaya and found this connection all over the country of people who just loved the city, loved our culture. And I was doing a good thing. I was raising some money for some people in need, ended up raising over $100,000. And I was like, there's something here. I'm 22.
I would say so.
I'm 22 years old at the time, and I made my job tailgating and raising money. So I was like, I'm coming back to this. But it took me a few years to get it going. But I'm proud to say I am now 11 years in business, manufacturing my products here in New Orleans, working with one of the best chef teams. The chef that I originally worked with has since passed, but he was a legend, Chef Paul Prudhomme. Have you heard of Chef Paul?
I have.
Oh, awesome. Not a lot of people our age have. He was huge in the 80s. I mean, he put, a lot of people say that Emerald put Louisiana, New Orleans food on the map, which, hey, love my BAM guy.
Yeah.
But even before Emerald, he was an understudy of Chef Paul Prudhomme in his Commander's Palace kitchen and his K. Paul's kitchen. And then he went and started a seasoning blending facility here in the city, and it is state of the art. It's tremendous to see what they've done. And they did tell me that the first time they brought a truckload of rice into the warehouse to make my jambalaya rice mix, that Chef Paul about fell out of his chair like, what are we doing with all this rice? So I was delighted. That was one of my early successes when we got to order our first truckload of rice to make our products.
That's great too, because I'm a low key like food nerd. So I look into the nuts and bolts of everything, whether it be where it originated at, stuff like that. I don't know why. I'm always interested in that. I cook a lot too, and we do a lot of cooking for little nonprofit stuff. Of course, nothing to your level or even how you started, but I enjoy food, and as most of us do here in Louisiana.
Yeah, I mean, I love the experience of cooking too. Everybody's got a story about their recipe. I'm so grateful I get to share my story with it. I mean, that's what we do. We share with our community, we share with our neighbors, we get around the pot and get cooking, and that's where the entertainment happens. Just like with Cajun Ninja, man. I mean, he is putting on a show next to that pot.
Well, tell me about this. Tell me about this this recipe and what kind of stands you apart from everyone else, because I've had a lot of jambalaya in my life. I haven't had yours yet, but I'm definitely looking forward to trying it.
I know that's definitely you're going to get a nice little Jambalaya Girl care package. But no, absolutely love all the recipes that are out there. I tell people this is jambalaya and gumbo are my staples. And it's my dad's jambalaya recipe, my mama's gumbo recipe, and I absolutely respect your scratch recipe. What sets mine apart is really the rich broth that we're using in it. Even Chef Paul has a quote that he says, the difference between a good dish and a fantastic one is a good rich stock. Yeah. And I've got that base in all of my products. We actually blend the rice, the seasonings, the vegetables, the hearty dehydrated vegetables are in there. Like I already threw the Trinity in it for you. And the flavor is what comes out. It is a brown style, not red style jambalaya and gumbo. So brown style, Cajun style that way. And it's not too spicy. I'm gonna get on my little soapbox and say what drives me crazy is when people will package a product or they'll cook a product out of state. Oh, we got a Cajun New Orleans restaurant, and all I do is throw a bunch of cayenne and salt in it.
Yeah.
Like, that is not my taste in New Orleans. You're just burning your palate, and you're missing all the flavor. That's the beauty of these dishes. It's just there's so much seasoning that meld together that the flavor needs to come out. So, a lot of local parents here have deemed my product kid approved, that it's not too spicy for
Nice.
them, and just super easy. I mean, I almost get I love the element of surprise when people try my product, because box mixes, as far as a jambalaya and a gumbo mix, isn't necessarily a new thing to the market, but the fact that mine is so good and so easy, and that they don't have to doctor it up, really has helped to set it apart.
Yeah, I mean, I think that most people, and abroad, not here in Louisiana, a lot of my listeners and viewers may not be from here. If they don't know what jambalaya is, but if they have, they've gotten maybe red beans and rice before, or jambalaya mix from like a Zatarain's. And they are a very old company, and they've had this product out for a really long time. But honestly, I've never been a big fan. I always liked, making it from scratch. There's a lot bigger process to that. So the fact that you've, taken your product and blended it from home recipes, and then be able to package it and replicate that flavor, is just something that's going to be amazing for people to experience. And then going back
trust me.
Oh,
yeah, no, say, and by all means, I have customers all over the country. We've sold in all 50 states. I mean, I've got it not only in stores, but I have it online, Amazon, all that. But I loved hearing from customers across the country who are like, look, I've either never cooked it before, or I can't make it from scratch, and I just make you look good. There's a couple ways I'm gonna make you look good. And if you want to hide the box, I'm fine with that. As long as you're enjoying it with some friends.
I've always been the jambalaya. I'm the guy that likes a lot more meat in mine and less rice.
Yeah.
And so it, like you said, with what you have, it's prepackaged already. If you want to just add in more meat, you can, right? I mean,
yep. You can, my recipe calls for chicken and sausage. It's like a pound of protein per box. And you can always go above or beyond that. You can even just use it as a plain rice mix if you wanted, but the only thing you have to get perfect is the water. So as long as you got the water content per my directions, you can throw whatever leftovers you got in the pot. If y'all into deer meat, if y'all into, I don't know where you getting your meat or your seafood from, that it'll taste great.
Yeah. Well, for those people who may not know what jambalaya is, can you break that down for them and kind of explain not only the traditional how it comes together, but what all incorporates the flavor and uniqueness of the actual dish? Yeah,
I mean, so the word jambalaya actually derives itself. It's ham with rice is the simple origin of it, but it really is it's influenced by Cajun, Creole, African. There's so many different heritage that go into the pot. But traditionally, like when we cooked it, it's a big cast iron kettle. We would always cook it in a big 10-gallon pot, and it's rice with vegetables, which is traditionally the Trinity: your celery, onions, bell pepper, and chicken and sausage is the way we normally cook it. And I'll tell you, the most challenging thing we had when packaging the original recipe into a small little box.
Yeah.
Like this small little box right here. Our big challenge is like, how do we make a big pot fit in here? And what's the proportions? Like, it was so difficult to figure out how much goes into one little stovetop pot, which, hey, still feeds a family of 4.
Yeah.
But for us, feeding 1,000 people was our MO. And then, the gumbo, the origin of that, or what gumbo is, it's a roux-based dish. So that's one of the big differences. The questions I get is, what's the difference between jambalaya and gumbo? Gumbo is made with a roux, which is part flour, part fat. And you would whisk it in the pot just to get it, once it starts cooking, just to get it to darken, and that gives you different flavor profiles. The darker the roux, the richer it is. but be careful if you're trying to make it from scratch. You go 1 inch too dark and it is burnt.
Yep.
You got to toss it and start over. But we actually, with our gumbo mix, the roux is already done. So it's toasted flour, and it is, I mean, it's delicious. It's a dark, rich roux. You get a lot of color and aroma with that, and it's easy. I've made it, my whole thing is, if you can boil water, you can make my product. Just add your meat or seafood and protein to it, and you got it. Set it and forget it.
Well, no, that's exciting too. I'm ready to try it. I've not been, we're in North Louisiana up here, but we still eat a lot of Cajun dishes. We're not bland here, but a lot of people across the states, may not have experienced the flavor. I'm not a big gumbo person. I prefer jambalaya all day long. If you give me a choice of each, I'm going to pick jambalaya over gumbo all day, just because I like a thicker, I say it sits better on me, it sits better on my stomach. I like something that I can hold on to for a couple hours. It's not, I don't feel like I'm drinking a soup or anything like that. Gumbo's a little more, a little more soupy.
More of a soup. Yeah.
But
just throw you some potato salad with it. That'll make it hearty.
And that's another thing.
You could use it as a gravy.
Hey, that's another thing. A lot of people up here don't eat their gumbo potato salad. They eat it with rice, which is a whole other ordeal. I think me and the ninja talked about that for a little bit, but yeah, you got to be getting to your roots to eat a potato salad. People don't know what you're talking about when you say that. You know what I mean?
Yep. No, I mean, traditionally it is served with rice, but this actually kind of comes from about where Cajun Ninja's from, like the Southwest Louisiana.
Yeah.
They like to get a good potato salad in the bowl and then get a big old scoop of the gumbo with the meat in it, and it's delicious. I like it with leftovers. I'll do the original dish with rice. Leftover gumbo, I'll throw over the potato salad.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a debate, man. I know you've had it before, but that's a hot debate.
Oh yeah, I've seen that debate in comments too many times. I'm sure you have too. I'm sure you've had that debate within some of your content. But yeah, it happens. Yeah. But I mean, for those who don't know what we're talking about, you got to try it out. You know what I mean?
For sure.
So tell me what you guys have going on. You seem to be a lot about supporting local relief, not just for the recent hurricane activity and how you basically come to be, but just supporting local, it looks like, organizations and stuff like that. So tell me how you got into doing that and what's going on with that right now.
It came naturally. Truly, my whole business is the evolution of my story, and even me wearing the 4 earrings is because I rode in a parade when the Saints were in the Super Bowl. I mean, there is nothing forced or fixed about my company. It is just my childhood story, and jambalaya is typically the #1 served dish, not only for relief efforts, but for football games, for school fairs, for charity events. It's like, all right, we need to feed the crew, bust out the cast iron pot, and we're going to cook jambalaya. So it's already in the recipe. It's already ingrained in us. So that was an easy transition. And we, of course, support our local schools and playgrounds. There's some that we continue to do even further efforts with, but I've identified that really is a big piece of our business and story. So for my customers, I'm getting calls. I do actually have a guy in Dallas. He would cook for his son's high school football team every year. And they'd send me pictures of the team. The kids loved it. And that's what I told him. I was like, I see an opportunity here. And I recently launched, it's a nonprofit rebate, pretty much. It's if somebody reaches out to me, you can actually go on my website and find it, that if you are going to be cooking in bulk for a couple hundred people, or even if it's just 50 people, and you want to do this as an effort to raise funds or to support some nonprofit organization, I'm going to give you 50% back of your cost. And all I ask you to do is just to fill out a form, tell me who you're cooking for, what the good cause is, and I'm going to help you out with the cost for that, because you're doing what we do best.
Yeah.
But that's been a common thread. Now, by all means, we have customers who love it every day for dinner. I mean, I have some kids that won't even look at another box. Like, they see my yellow box in the grocery store and they run to it, and that's dinner once a week. But yeah, man, that's just it's our story. It's a part of who we are, and we want to make sure we're giving it back and sharing those stories of our customers too. So that's the nice thing, is now I can start telling everybody else's story. What are you cooking for? How are you sharing our taste of New Orleans to help somebody out?
So if they, if we do have any, which I know a lot of people that like to cook and are involved in a lot of nonprofits, if we have anyone listening or watching, what's your website they could go to get more information on that?
So it's jambalayagirl.com.
Okay.
And to go direct to the nonprofit website, it's jambalayagirl.com/nonprofit.
Okay.
And you can find out more about the rebate for Cooking for a Cause.
That's easy enough. Yeah, that's something we love to do. I mean, and you do too. I mean, it's something I don't know what it is about getting together and cooking and enjoying good company. You know what I mean? They're just, you can't duplicate that. You can't replicate it. You can't, there's nothing you can do that compares to that.
For sure, for sure. Not that good times around the pot, man. We that's what we love. That's what we do best.
Well, tell me this. So for those people who may want to get into doing some tailgate cooking, who may not be from Louisiana, what's the starter pack if they say they're cooking for 20 or 30 people? They got to have. So tell me the essentials. What do they got to have if they're, they have, a good group of people, maybe they're tailgating, maybe they had a party at the house, watching the LSU game, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Or any other team.
Well, I'll tell you. So I don't want to intimidate anybody. You don't need, we perfected it to where you don't need the big 10 or 20 gallon cast iron pot. Okay. If you got it, awesome, got you covered. But no, I mean, even for just a home party, I do offer a party size. This one's my regular size. I have one that's a little bit bigger. That one package in there would make a half size pan of jambalaya, which is wonderful for a house party, a tailgate, potluck dinner, bringing it to church, whatever it is. And that one, you need the party size jambalaya mix. You need a pound of chicken. I like to go boneless, skinless chicken thighs. Mm-hmm. But when I'm in a rush, I'm not gonna lie, I have used rotisserie chicken. Yeah. I have used I've used canned chicken. Like, you can't go wrong with rotisserie chicken, though. You can't go wrong with rotisserie chicken. It's gonna add the flavor to it. Yeah. But no, get your chicken, get your sausage. I know it's tough to find a good Louisiana smoked sausage across the country. But if you can find a smoked, as best, or even just an andouille, I've had some customers cook brats with it. Comes out great, because you're still gonna get the flavor comes from the mix. Right. So once you get that, that's it. Cook it in, if you get like a 5-quart Dutch oven or a 5-quart stock pot, cook it in there. You can put it in the pan. I've even been in a rush to where I have put everything in the pot, got it to the point where it is boiling. You put the lid on, you cut the heat off, and I travel with the pot. I put it in my car. Oh yeah. Because the rice, it's a parboiled rice. It just needs like 20 minutes or so to soak up all the water. So by the time I get to the party, it's done. Yeah. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. That's like some of those, old going to the family holiday stories, rushing to get it all cooked, get it in the car, let it finish cooking on the way there. Oh yeah. No, I got a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. I'm rushing to cook all the time. That, and I'll tell you, my other trick is I use a rice cooker. So especially if the chicken's already cooked, you can literally throw the chicken and the sausage in there. I brown the sausage with the rice cooker on before I add the water and the rice mix. And then once you put everything in there, that's another one you can just set it and bring it where you need it to go. Heck yeah. Well, tell me this, being a Southern gal, what's your favorite Cajun dessert? Oh, it's my favorite. It's my son's favorite. We love eclairs. Okay. I mean, eclairs I think are pretty common, but we're hot on some eclairs right now. That and a good bread pudding with leftover French bread. Bread pudding's my favorite all the way. Bread pudding over cream brulee all day. Yes. I need that shirt. Yeah. I like that. Do you make that? You should. Well, hey, that's another thing that pairs well for a good old tailgate is a pan of bread pudding. Yes. Yes. You have any secrets on making that? The secret to that, oh my God, my mom puts like a whole quart of I feel like of like the cream in it. That, and then just a good vanilla season to it. So that, and then of course getting you some Leidenheimer, if you can get access to it, some Leidenheimer French bread that is perfectly crisp on the outside and stale. Yeah. I haven't had that. Had that one yet. Yeah. That's great. No, the complete party. So you got the dessert, you got your jambalaya, If you need to make a salad on the side, then it's complete. That's what a lot of customers ask me, like, hey, I want to host this New Orleans party. What do I need?
Yeah.
And it's like, no, truly, your meat, your veggie, your protein, it's all in one big pot. It's a one pot dish. Make a beautiful side salad if you'd like. But aside from that, man, just order yourself some mass, some Mardi Gras beads, get some Cajun music playing in the background, and you got it. If you can, if it's during king cake season, ship yourself a king cake.
There you go.
And have a good time.
There you go. Well, tell me, any memorable stories tied to this industry and what you've been doing since you've launched? Like something that just you always go back to, and you just can't tell people enough about this one experience, or maybe multiple experiences.
Oh wow. Okay, yeah, I got lots of those.
Any one random or a couple?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. I actually this is kind of funny. I'll share this as a kind of a business story.
Yeah.
I got to talk about the fork earrings. A lot of people notice these and comment on these. So how the evolution of Jambalaya Girl came to be, I started my company and it was called Cook Me Something Mister. It was a fun play on Throw Me Something Mister for Mardi Gras. But I led the parade for when the Saints went to the Super Bowl. I was with all these guys that dress up for the Saints games, the super fans like the Pope and Whistle Monster, and they were on my case. Like, all right, I had an apron that said Jambalaya Girl. I'm like, come on, Jambalaya Girl, you gotta step it up. You need. Where's your super fan look?
Yeah.
So I got some. I went to Party City and I got some Saints color gold forks. Broke them in half, made the fork earrings. I had a mini cast iron pot on my head. I had a gold jambalaya paddle that said yum yum. We had a blast that day, but I'll tell you, the fork earrings stuck. I mean, that was just one of those, like, that's unique. Thankfully, not the cast iron pot on the head. That would get old. But, even I changed my brand name. I went from Cook Me Something Mister to Jambalaya Girl about 4 years ago now. So we're talking, well into the growth of my business. I decided to change my packaging. I decided to change the company name, the brand name, all the marketing materials. Like, that was a risky move. But I just knew, like, the Cook Me Something Mister didn't resonate with people who didn't get the Mardi Gras piece. I mean, I had a girl, I went to a food show in Atlanta and she said, cook me something, mister. I like this. That means I'm going to give it to my mister and you cook me something. I was like, that works too. But no, the Jambalaya Girl nickname had to become a part of it. There's now a caricature of the Jambalaya Girl on the package. That was a, see, there she is. So cute with her folks on. That was, I'm a Southern Miss grad, even though I'm from Louisiana. I went to school in Mississippi, and there was a sketch artist, cartoonist who'd made that sketch of me while I was sweating in August, cooking a big pot of jambalaya, and I was like, I'm keeping that. I even made him invoice me for it. I was like, this is my Nike moment. Like, this is my logo.
Yeah. No, I think I was going to bring that up too. If we got into a little bit of business talking, let's do it. So I'm in the business of marketing and branding. Hold that box right back up real quick.
Yeah.
So your logo and your packaging screams like nostalgia for me, right? You have your logo's simple, easy to read, so it's a little more modernized, but you have a nostalgic look with your image, like of how it's drawn. It's hand drawn and it looks awesome. And then your packaging looks nostalgic, but it's also easy to read. So I like it because it screams like old time feel.
It's just
with new time, with new time marketing. So I love it. I think it's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, this is and you get my story and you get my picture when my picture comes in your pantry.
Well,
thanks, man.
That's an awesome way that originated. You perfected that your image and your marketing. I saw that immediately. That's one thing that turned me on. I was like, turned me on to ask you on the show. Basically, I was like, look, this is someone who looks like she's passionate about what she's doing. She likes to work with everyone, and she's real, and she's not just trying to turnkey this business. She's in it. She's in it.
Oh yeah, I am the brand. I am the business. I definitely have a wonderful team that couldn't do it without them. But sometimes my team involves my 3-year-old and 1-year-old in the background. Like, I'm hiding all the baby toys over there right now.
No, that's people love that, and it's authenticity is so hard to you can't filter that, right? You can't hide that. It's something it screams real. So, well, tell me, or if you want to share anything with people who may have, this seemed to start as something you just kind of went heads on into, but, some people may start something like this as a side hustle. I've seen it a lot
Yeah.
and then slowly build it up to where they can do it full time. Is there any words of wisdom, people who maybe in the grind, who may be a little deterred at first and say, well, I don't know if I'm going to jump out and do this because it's scary and there's already other brands out there I'm going to have to compete with. What would be your advice there?
Yeah, I mean, you've got to stay true to your story. You've got to have a passion for it from the start, and you've got to take advantage of every free resource and opportunity in the hand that is lended to you to get through it all. The difference of starting a business now versus when my dad started his own business. I'm a daughter of an entrepreneur, so that a lot of that, like I grew up around it, and I knew the struggles, and it's going to be tough. If you're doing this to make $1 million in the first couple of years, go do something else. No, you're doing this for lifestyle. You're doing this for your passion. You're doing this for your family, and you're doing it. And don't be ashamed that you're doing it to make money. This is a business that I have had to learn how to not give it away, to be very efficient in our promotions and our donations, but also be proud to share what we make. Free resources as far as like the SBA offers a lot of programs that I've taken advantage of from small business development centers. I went through the process of becoming a certified women-owned business because that's a national network of supplier diversity teams that just are there to help you. You don't have to be a minority or woman-owned business, but there is an organization out there that you can connect with that can help you just with the fundamentals of business. And there's a lot of business incubators now. And the word that comes to mind that really has been the success of my business is persistence.
Yeah.
There is just some days that there is no straight line to get from point A to point B. And my dad, and having somebody to share that with, mine is my dad. I have my whole family, but my dad's in the business with me. And when I tell him the challenges that we have, he always has something he can relate it to from back in his day. And that's your book. That's your book. You're right on the side.
Well, I think it's funny you just mentioned that because it sparked something. With any entrepreneur or anything, a story, who's someone who's true started something from the ground up and developed it. There's always that one or a few of those stories where something you did just failed so miserably.
You see it on my face.
But it resonates to where it makes you. It's either then okay, I'm in this to win it. I'm not going to quit. I'm going to move forward, because that fail turns to a win eventually. Do you have one of those?
Oh yeah, I have a few of those.
Let's hear it.
Dude, I'm dealing with one this week. We're not going to touch on that one though.
Okay.
And so, I want to encourage this to anybody who's going to get especially into the sales part of the business, as you're working with a local store versus working with a national brand. Like I sell my product at Costco and Sam's Club. So I've made the headquarter calls to the big box stores. And, I appreciate those relationships with my local stores just as much as I do my national ones. But when I first got started with Sam's Club, we shipped a pallet to Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And we got a call from the manager that said, just because I know you're new with us, I just want to give you a heads up. Your pallet fell over. You have a whole pallet of jambalaya that's just laying on the ground. So we can either just charge you full price and take that out of your check, or you. And I was like, no. Can I come up and fix it? I was like, is anything broken? He said, no. So we got up the next morning and drove straight up, drove 5 hours to Tuscaloosa, and my dad and I rebuilt the entire pallet back up to where it could sell. So that one, I earned the respect of that manager. Still today, I'm still doing business with the headquarters, and the managers will call and they've got my back. Like I've done something like that for all of my customers, and those are the ones who really help you to succeed. Is you show them that you're going to put it all in there. But yeah, man, from boxes purchased that didn't work, and those are the stories that you can kind of give you the thick skin. That's your credibility. Like, yeah, I've been there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, one of those things is people don't have to, and I didn't even know we were going to get on a business kick today, but we can do it for a second. One of those things that people don't think about is everything that goes into product and development before you get to where you can distribute with someone of such a large scale, you know, of these suppliers and these retailers is you have to perfect everything, all your nutrition, all that stuff has to be broken down and, you know, count and like counter developed or whatever y'all call that, you know, where you have to hone in on all that. You have to pay someone to do all that. You have to get your packaging right. You have to make sure that whenever it is packaged, that it stays fresh, how long it's going to keep, all those things people don't even think about, you know, when they're just making something, you know, making something local for, you know, someone right there within 10 minutes to hand it to them, you know.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love that all the entrepreneur stories. I mean, and that's the thing is, here I am, Jambalaya Girl. You see me on social media most of the time, you know, out there cooking, serving our community. But quite honestly, 5 days a week, I'm sitting in here.
Yeah.
You know, I've got my business hat on with the fork earrings, though. I definitely keep those. And I'll tell you, the past couple of years, the big challenge has been connecting with our customers.
Yeah.
As it is for everybody with COVID. We used to be in a store every single weekend giving out samples of our product. Taste this. I mean, when you sell a food product, people got to get it in their mouth and they got to love it and try it. And trying to be creative on how to introduce our brand to people without being able to do the in-store demos was our biggest challenge. So that's what I even launched. I launched my cooking club this year. And it's truly me being selfish. Like, I still want to hear from my customers.
So let's talk about that. Well, tell me about that. I don't know anything about it.
So, and it's pretty fresh. I mean, I have my first big campaign going out right now. It is my way. You know how like with the cereal box, you have the proof of purchase that you send in and they get rewards. Well, mine's called a proof of cooking. I don't care about, don't send me the receipt and the UPC and all that. No, get my box. Open up a bag and take a picture and show me that you've actually cooked and enjoyed my product. So you can have a picture of you holding the finished bowl or plate of product, you know, you next to the pot, you and your friends enjoying it. And if you go to submit, I have an easy form, you can upload your photo and submit your information. And I'm going to send you a free pair of Jambalaya Girl fork earrings so that you can wear proudly, cooking good and looking good. And you are an official member of the cooking club. And in the hopes is to share stories, recipes, connect with each other. You know, I'm not looking to spam you with all kind of crazy stuff. I'm just looking to say, hey, who are my fans out there? Who's in the Jambalaya Girl community? And, you know, I've known that everybody's going to wear the fork earrings. So I've got some fun magnets and aprons and things like that in the works. So,
well, I mean, no, that's awesome. That's exciting too, because there's so many people that don't do that. You know, if you're already, I think you're doing the right things at the right time. You know, you've done all the legwork to get the product out there. Now it's time to reconnect with your audience who, you know, maybe you didn't have time to while you was doing that, but that was what your business was built on in the first place, right? So you're able to reconnect and say, hey, I appreciate you. Let me show you my appreciation back. And we're excited to, you know, make everyone's story part of our story. You know, that's what's always fun, because so many people don't do that. You know, they're out there. It's not maybe that they don't have bad intentions. They just lose sight. You know what I mean? Or maybe they're just so engulfed in the business.
Right. Mm-hmm. They get busy with something else. But that was the thing is as we all are, I was just in this silo and just like, you know, and you see one review. Oh my gosh, those reviews online. I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful that, you know, I am, you know, I'm like 4.9 stars on our reviews, but it's like, gosh, if somebody has any sort of negative experience, like I'm jumping on it, like, oh man, this is not, I am sharing with you good times, good food, Louisiana, like, how do I make this better for you? You know, man, I don't want you to have that bad experience. And it's something, I know, but it's something that, you know, it takes doing something like the cooking club, responding, communicating with my customers. It takes the, you know, the cyber piece away from it. Like, hey, I'm a real person, you know, and I just want you to enjoy this. And a lot of, you know, majority of people do. And I'm very thankful for that. And I want to keep sharing those stories, you know. I'm not in this business to do anything other than share to share my taste and my love for my city.
That's, I mean, it's authentic, it's real, and that's what, is just something that's attractive for the brand and for the food, and I'm excited to try it out. So what do you have, anything else coming up you want to mention, or any plugs you want to drop besides what we've already talked about? Any last words, any, positive thoughts, anything?
Yeah, no, I mean, for sure, guys. I mean, first of all, if you haven't tried it yet, go get you some. Go to my website, jambalayagirl.com. You can either order online. There's a find a store link on there. Get you your product, get cooking, take that picture and join the cooking club. And then we can keep this conversation going. But also you want to join up because I have new items coming out. I am expanding our line this year. We have a yellow rice that the difference with that one too, we're doing it with Louisiana flavor. I mean, I've tried a lot of yellow rice and being completely authentic, we went and cooked for the Super Bowl in Miami, and the Hispanic community there absolutely loved our jambalaya, but they're like, can you add some turmeric and make it yellow? I'm like, we'll try it. And we did a lot of trial and error. We've had some samples out there and it is fantastic. And it's a great flavor. Another thing, complement your plate in your dinner time. And then we also have some other new items, a new seasoning kit for those who want to make a pastalaya or a rice cauliflower version of jambalaya. We'll provide you with just the essence of the mix, which is the seasoning and the vegetables without the rice. So that's coming up too. Aside from that, man, just this is prime time. We just had National Gumbo Day yesterday.
Yes.
Get cooking, y'all. It is time to enjoy a little taste of New Orleans every week in your kitchen, and I'd be happy to join you with my picture in your pantry.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much. It was great to meet you today. Everyone, please subscribe to the podcast. Jambalaya Girl, Kristen Preau. Very nice to meet you too.
Cheers.